All right, red light's on. Hopefully this one works better than the members only. I did a members only before. Oh, I was gonna put a screen behind me since it looks like such a mess. I was watching the Iowa game. This was actually all organized, but then when they lost by a point, I just started flipping over tables and kicking crankbait boxes. All right, Jermaine, give me thumbs up if you're good to go in. You can eat on stream too. I don't give a poo. All right, let's see. We are live. So Jermaine's eating some za.
Are we live already?
We're live already. Yeah, you're good.
Oh,
Eat on stream, man. I don't care. Tonight we're talking Topwater. We'll fill in while you're getting a little bite to eat there. Dizzle, have you done any fishing since you and I were out? You been catching them?
Yeah, I told you that one little place that we go to every once in a while. It's by that one impoundment,
Oh yeah.
right up the highway. Super tall, super overgrown. Like the branches are like the involuntary trees are up over my head, just crazy overgrown. But there's like two spots that are like semi-open where people have, gone down there before me and paved the way. I went out there one night and caught probably 14 or 15, just tiny ones, but crazy enough, spinnerbait. Just kind of burning a spinnerbait, and they were crushing it.
I would like to, I'm tying one on. All right. You just locked it in. I had a few on it last weekend. Liza said that's what I should throw. I want to get some other input from people. Since we're talking Topwater tonight, I found this. I was sharing this on the members only live. So I've thrown the head and tiny torpedo and the regular torpedo, but this was Gander Mountain, take a drink. Gander Mountain going out of business special. This is the micro. Look at that. Just barely over an inch, like an inch and a quarter. That thing is pretty sweet.
Third of a DEBO finger.
Yeah, third of a DEBO finger. We're gonna BFS that up tomorrow. Spinnerbait. Let's see. I usually take 6 with me. My yak can hold 6 that are tethered down now. I don't mess with anything that's not tethered now. I done learned my lesson. So that and a spinnerbait. We've got 2. I'll have to figure out what my other 4 are. Do want to thank everybody for joining. 128 people in here already. I love you all. That is awesome. My members had a short little members only before this. If you are a member, I thank you all. Appreciate that a ton. If you're not a member, I still love you. I appreciate everybody that watches. I would not be here without all of you. So tonight, topwater fishing. That's the subject, boys. Topwater fishing. Now, I'm going to start off with a kind of a question. Each year, it kind of goes in ebbs and flows. It feels like I have a couple lures that are usually always productive, but sometimes like frog fishing. Like frog fishing this year's been okay. Last year was the worst frog fishing year I had for I don't know how long. This year I've had a few pretty good days. But a lure for me this year that is usually pretty good and it's going to pick up in the fall is the buzzbait. I haven't had a single good buzzbait day at all. Spring or fall. I think I caught a couple here and there, but nothing yet. So have you guys had, and it doesn't have to be just Topwater. Mine happens to be that. Do you guys have one that usually has done well and just this year has not been a producer?
I really haven't thrown anything outside of what I normally throw. I haven't really branched off. Actually, well, I guess I have thrown an underspin. Yeah, no, I think everything's been pretty much on par. I've been throwing a lot of swim jigs, because I'm a big swim jig guy. Did he take his earbuds out? I think he did.
Yeah, for a second. I think he's writing down the winner from the.
He's like, here, let me ask you 2 a question. I'm gonna take my earbuds out real quick while you answer.
But I mean, for me, I would say all Topwater, just in general. Like Topwater,
really,
a lull for me.
Everything you're just throwing in the whole bucket, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I got like 2 frog fish in the year.
Oh god,
I've thrown the Chapo a lot, which is crazy because of Greg Blanchard. I have so much confidence in it. I watch his videos and he absolutely destroys on the thing. And I throw it and I'm like, ooh, I know I'm going to get a bite. I've never gotten a bite on it. It's weird. So just all top. I got a Vixen.
Got a different sound.
I got a new Vixen. I was so ready. I was like, oh my God, everyone talks about the Vixen. Here we go. I'm going to experience the magic. Here we go. Bone Vixen. Nothing.
That bite's coming up though. That bite is going to be absolutely drop dead cold here
I hope so.
soon. I'm like, to me, like once I start to get to the mid to end of September, like that's on. That bite's gonna be on here. Start getting these cold mornings like we have now. Everything's gonna start transitioning. That's gonna be a big one. That's one I want to talk about because there's so many different types and sizes. And I've got a couple tips. I am by no means a pro at any of this stuff, so I need to get a shirt made that says, I forget who it was, but made the comment of Debo. He doesn't know everything, but he's happy to share everything that he knows. And I'm like,
Sounds about right.
yes, that is stamped on. If I can try to help
Sounds
you and
great.
share what I know, I will. Do I know
Mhm.
everything? Hell no. I am not a pro at this stuff, but I grabbed a couple here. So Dave Raleigh says, do love throwing poppers though. Hands down, without a question, best topwater and best producing lure of the year, popper. And that was one that I said I'm going to make more of a concentrated effort this year. I used to do that at the beginning of the year, either a new technique or one that's not necessarily new, but one that I just haven't like done for a few years. And the popper kind of took the wayside to, like you were saying, plopper, chopo, buzz baits, walking baits, all those are kind of my go-to reach. Popper for me is always kind of like, okay, I'm going to bloop it slow, or maybe I'll walk it. So I really tried to experiment with a whole bunch of different poppers. So every one that I've had this year, every good day in video, I don't think I've duplicated the same popper in any video. It's either been a different size, different shape, different style. And I can tell some subtle differences between some of them and some pretty big differences to use. So that was kind of one of the things I want to talk with in walking baits, because I feel like walking baits is the big thing going into fall. Popper could really do that with a lot of those I've been using, the Yellow Magic or the, what's the other one? The expensive one, Rio Rico. Smaller cup mouths. I should have grabbed some examples, but smaller cup mouth, really easy to walk. It's not like the P71 was my other favorite, Rebel, but it's got a much larger mouth. So it's really good at slow bloop, 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 and leaving it. And it really makes that big bloop, on the top of the water. More of a target focused, popper. So there's a bunch of different ones out there, but how about you guys? Do you have, and this doesn't have to be topwater, just happened to be for me, but what's been so far this year your number one producing lure out of anything?
Go ahead, Jermaine.
I think I talked about it on a live or not too long ago. I think my number one producing bait in terms of numbers and size, I think I still got to go with the jerk bait. That 6 cents 97. I popped it out the box, and it was one of those baits where it was like it hit the water. It was kind of
smaller
magic.
One.
Yeah, it was magic for me. Like it was just something different for me. I don't know if the fish were just feeling it, but it was like a 2-3 week period where I just couldn't keep them off it. Put a couple 4-pounders on it. I was like, all right,
that's awesome.
Yeah, smallies, largies. And then spinnerbait too. Yeah, spinnerbait all day.
Okay.
Yeah, spinnerbait's been killer for me. I think I just put over a 20-inch fish on a spinnerbait not too long ago.
Nice.
Hell yes.
4 or 5 pounder somewhere in there.
How about you, Mr. Dizzle?
Honestly, my killer everywhere I've gone pretty much this year has been the chatterbait. I just can't. I can't put a chatterbait down. It just seems to catch fish for me. Ripping it right above the grass lines if I find some, getting it tight up against banks and stuff like that. So chatterbait's pretty much been my go-to.
Yeah, I've not had I was just saying that earlier in the members. I have not had a few here and there, but it's definitely not been a great chatterbait year for me.
Really? Yeah, I think that day when we went out last, Debo, that the last one that I caught that was tight up against the shoreline was on a chatterbait, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I had a few that day out with you till I lost it. Had a good Walter. I wish I would have caught it late in the day, but caught it like first thing in the morning. Would have been a perfect eating size Walter. But yeah, had a few good ones on that, and then lost it. A couple other ones, couple more break offs. Kind of a crap day. So Happens. Catch fish, you lose fish. Somebody said before, speaking of topwater, I would like to know what people are throwing for. Let's see, I start it here. Real quick, got Mr. Mike Vogel in the house. River to Sea Rover topwater caught my PB this year. Can't stay for live. Gotta go poop the bed
Big
like
Vogel.
the Hawkeyes did. Bless. Surprised Dizzle isn't at the Huskers game. I know. That's because he's back. He's back here in Iowa. If he was out there, for sure he would. Oh yeah, me and my old lady are gonna go watch the Huskers win.
Has never been said once in my life.
Honey, aren't you excited to watch the Huskers? Okay, cooler lid. I need a replacement frog rod. What are y'all using for your frog rods? Because I got the 6 Sense Vega frog rod. Not a fan of it at all. Yeah, don't like it. Do you have that one, Jermaine?
No, I don't have it.
It's the 6 Sense Vega frog rod. I can bring it up here.
Why don't you like it?
It's pretty stiff. It feels pretty tip heavy, and the reel threading on it, it's like a mile long. I don't know if it's let me see when we bring the one up here, but it goes like 3 inches above the reel screw when you screw down to hold the reel on.
You were showing me that you had that one out, right?
Yeah, like 3 or 4 inches above it. Like
that was crazy.
That's not right. So I don't know if that one was a defect or what, but
whoa, Mike, be nice.
Not comfortable.
Mike goes because 6 Sense sucks.
Ooh.
Be nice.
No, they've got some good rods.
No, it's all right. You're entitled to your own opinion.
Oh, right, for sure. But yeah, it's one of those where I don't like. I don't know. I don't gravitate toward their stuff, but they have good stuff. I just not.
Their rods are rods. Like honestly, and like where I'm at now, and I had this conversation as well on another live. I'm not buying a rod unless it's got a lifetime warranty. So.
Really?
I had some unfortunate events this year, and I just like that factor became like very apparent to me. You know, I reached out to a couple companies and they were just like, no, sorry, we don't do that. And I was just like, oh,
that's not my review.
Like I just gotta go buy a new rod, you know, and it's all right. So I'm just gonna stick with like honestly like a recommendation. If you want a new frog rod, I would go mess with the Monster Bass Lunker sticks.
Funny enough, that's the one that I blew up when I set the hook on it and blew that one up. Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't the frog rod, but it was the medium heavy. It was like my light frog rod.
But Gramps has been screaming about them for a while that he like makes me want to get one.
Yeah, and they're good rods. I have had zero issues with them until then. Yeah, and that one was the one that blew up. This is my light one. It was for like my smaller frogs and stuff. Really, really liked it. I don't know what the hell happened. I could have stepped on it. I could have compromised the tube, you know, to a spot where it weakened it. Because usually it's a tip that's gonna break. Like if you swing on a frogfish.
Yeah.
Special guest, give me a thumbs up if you're good, because we're live already. Okay. Special guest joining us here.
What's up?
Hey.
What's going on?
Hey, y'all. Look, Dizzle, you should be all excited. Ooh, touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Let's see. We're talking about frog rods, Brennan. What do you know about frog rods?
Ooh, I was just rigging up a frog rod.
Really?
No, not really. Just rigging a frog rod. I gotta
by frog rod.
Yeah,
you mean like
I really don't have a preference really too much. I just need something.
Well,
no, come on now. I do throw 7-inch swim baits on a frog rod. But so I like. Come on now. I've got some normal people stuff. Come on. But I like a stiffer frog rod, like a 7.3, fast with a heavy action. I don't know. It's just my personal preference.
Yep,
heavy
right
power.
7.2, 7.3 is my.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want a broomstick. That's the only thing I don't want in a frog rod. I can't do it.
Yeah, there's a very
if you're fishing like
fine
docks.
line.
If you're fishing docks, I like a shorter frog rod though. So that's the only caveat to that.
Yeah, I don't notice a huge
it helps with accuracy a lot.
Yeah, like a 7.2 and moving down. I guess I haven't used like a 6.8 or a 6.10 heavy, but I feel like I could skip just fine with the 7.2. 7.2 is probably like my favorite all around. We got a good question here. We're going to get into Topwater. I want to talk about some Topwater walking bait stuff real quick. Mike, A-rig versus spinnerbait. I want to see your guys' stuff or thoughts on A-rig, because again, that's one of those that I got. Bass Geek, I forget the company. Beautiful little finesse A-rigs. Don't remember who they are, but he got me onto those, and he's like, dude, throw it just like you would a spinnerbait. You love fishing a spinnerbait. Throw these. I have zero confidence in them. I've caught one fish, had one big, huge pike on it and lost it. Otherwise, haven't caught a single bass on an A-rig. I'm not an A-rig guy. So thoughts from y'all.
I would like to try a finesse A-rig. I haven't got my hands on, a smaller one. I think the ones I have are probably about an ounce, maybe 3/4, and they have 4 or 5 arms coming off of them. I've thrown them a couple of times. I've caught a couple of smaller fish on them, but again, it's too big of a bait for me to have confidence in.
I'm going with the spinnerbait all day.
Yeah,
same.
I'm same with you right there, Jermaine. Spinnerbait all day. I mean, like the A-rig is like nice, but it's like very situational for me. Like I'm not going to bring it out every day.
This is for you, Brendan.
Look at that, the Sawala spinner.
Nice.
That's a good one. It's still tied up. Dan, you need to tie that thing on. Dan.
Nope.
Go through it.
Chris. What I've been loving recently is the new Hank Parker ones. They recreated the Man's Classic again, and they did it right.
What?
That's good.
I haven't. Somebody else told me they dropped those, and I'm like, dude, I got to get some, because I got the old repops, the old man's repops, but not the new ones that he went in with. Like there was a show. Somebody shared the show with me, and he went over like all the details, like building it. He's like, these are the things I look for. This exact type wire for this type of vibration, this set of blade, like everything. And it's just, you can tell he had very, he was very passionate about it. Obviously he's a big spinnerbait guy, but it was just cool to kind of hear his thoughts as somebody who I've looked up to. You can tell when they're passionate about making a bait, not like some of these.
It's awesome.
I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but anyway, I'll stay above the line.
Don't want to step on toes.
Yeah.
How did that A-rig hold up on that pike? The finesse one.
Completely fine. It just threw it. Just jumped off. Was the only thing. That was the same day you caught that big, huge wiper, and I got your picture. I was throwing it by those logs.
Oh, yeah. The other thing with A-rigs is they just take forever to like rig up if you're not ready to go with them. Throwing your
got to have them ready to go beforehand
or whatever, or your jig head.
Chris Russ, that's funny.
I was laughing at his earlier. He said, I forgot the members only. Was it a therapy session after today's game? Dude, that's what I was telling people. This was all organized down here. I had everything stacked and tidy. And then after the game, I just was kicking crap over and throwing stuff. F-bombs everywhere. It's crazy. Okay, so yeah, poor Fudge Stripe. Dude, he's alive. He's alive and kicking over there. In my belly. He died now. He'll get buried. He's a pet. Once you name him, you have to bury him. That was always the deal on the farm. If you don't name him, you can eat him. If you name him, gotta bury him. Okay, so Patrick, question: is it possible for a lake to be a bad topwater lake? Either that or I just suck. No, you don't suck. Okay, so here's the deal. This is a perfect kickoff for me. So we were just kind of talking beforehand about the whole topwater swing. Jermaine talking about seeing some schooling fish. You've got bluegill, you've got shad, alewife, blueback, all these different lakes. Are they all going to be the exact same? No, they're all going to be different. But the thing for me, being in the Midwest, when temps start to drop like we're seeing now, tomorrow I think it's supposed to be like 44 in the morning. So I'm going to have to bundle up, put my long underbreeches on, and get to it, because it's going to be cold. And once you start seeing that super cold nights, 20-something degree differences, it's going to be on. Fall transition is going to start to happen. And it's not going to be like you hear on a lot of these bass pros fishing the big lakes. Oh, they're going to start to move to the main points. And then, the back of all the creek arms, they're going to have all the bait fish. We don't get to all fish that. The lakes I have around here, most of them aren't like that. 1,000-acre lakes and below is very common to what I've got around here to fish. So for me, starting to look at those temperature swings and the different places to catch them. So that's what I want to talk about with this. And I think it's a perfect spot to kick it off is it a good or bad topwater lake? Either that or I just suck. So I think there's always going to be a topwater lake, or there's always going to be a topwater bite on a lake. It's going to depend what it is and what you've got around. So as we go around here and think about, try to pick a situation that's been a little bit different. I know I'm putting you all on the spot here right now. We didn't discuss any of this. This is all off cuff. But pick a spot where you've either been surprised or you've picked apart a topwater bite when you didn't think it was going to happen. For instance, and my buddy Rob just texted me before this, was talking about out fishing, chasing shade lines. So we'll talk about that. As the water's still decently warm, those days where you don't have a ton of cloud cover, where fish aren't roaming, where they're going to be tight to cover, especially like now, where it's in that kind of tough transition period, shade lines is one thing that I'll tell people to focus on. So if you start on the shady side, fish it until the sun hits it, flip to the other side that stays shady longer and chase those shade lines. Because what that'll do, especially in summer, as fish start to school and as they're chasing the bait and stuff, it's not going to be as prevalent. They're going to be moving more. But like for right now, when they're following those shade lines, you can almost pick it like your spots that still have those big shade lines and catch them in there. So that might be one thing. Are you fishing out in the open? Are you fishing, sunny pockets, or are you fishing the shady windblown side? Right? That might be something to look at, Patrick. So shade, I'm going to say shade lines is a spot to follow. What do you guys, have you ever had a topwater bite that's been a little surprising this time of year, or like, oh, I didn't really think this was going to be the deal, and it turned out? I know I'm putting you on the spot, so I'm going to look through.
I would say just in general, for me anyway, I have zero confidence in fishing a frog in any type of open water. I need to have, some sort of like muck or scum or adjacent scum to like fish towards. So if I can't hit what I think is like the real juicy stuff, and all I can really get to is like open water fishing from the bank, I'm just like, I'm not even going to waste my time fishing a frog here, because I feel like they're all over there in that junk. They're not over here in this open water. So like I have had a few surprises where I have thrown just a frog down a shoreline and, caught some just in open water, just kind of walking it back. So that's the one thing that kind of gave me hope. And then, my hope was dashed shortly thereafter when I tried it on a different day in a different situation.
Yes, that's a good point. You don't always have to have like a ton of slop. Like Diz was saying, some of that stuff, lines of it. But even like wood and timber, if you've got a frog on, the good thing about that is you don't get it snagged in the wood very often. Don't be afraid to get it right up on those logs, in those little brush piles, walk it through there. Usually not going to get hung up, even if you're fishing from the bank. Jermaine, Brendan, you guys got any tips?
I guess I'm gonna go with the I suck part too, because my topwater bite has been terrible. So I'm gonna throw myself in the I suck bucket.
Yeah, and don't feel bad. Like a lot of people, somebody just said the Jim Berg buzzbait's been a killer this year, or a buzzbait has been a buzz kill this year. Yeah, same for me.
Yeah,
buzzbait has not been on. Like Johnny's saying, Teckle Kick Knocker, best topwater on earth. Assuming he's had really good luck with that. So it really depends where you're at. Yeah, Florida, Jim F, Devil's Horse. So it can kind of depend, where you're at, what you're fishing. Brendan, I don't know if you have any tips or anything that you've thought about.
I mean, you kind of have to think outside the box, honestly. Like fishing all around the year. Like I catch fish on a frog or a buzzbait or a spook in the middle of winter, and even though the water temp is like in the mid 50s, lower 50s, you can still catch them on topwater. So I'm just saying, you can catch them. You don't be pigeonholed into just throwing, baits that the pros are saying or whoever's saying. Experiment a little bit with it. Maybe go with a Devil's Horse and just fish that thing super, super, super slow, like they do down in Florida, or rip it or something. Just do something a little different. Don't just pigeonhole yourself into doing something.
That's a really good point, bringing up temperature, because that's something I was going to hit on later too. Is in the spring, I feel like, for me anyway, maybe I'm totally wrong and I could be off, maybe need to take more of my own advice, but I feel like the topwater bite spring, going from really cold water into warming up, I tend to wait a little bit longer before that bite really heats up. But going into the fall like this, as the temperature is dropping, I feel like as that gets down closer even into the 40s, I'm still getting topwater bites. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You've still got fish that are actively feeding and moving. You can still hit them. Would I throw top 40s in the spring? Probably not. Not my thing. You hear about these guys early, spawn, Texas fishing a frog over these beds and pissing the fish off. And I can only think of one time where I was out in a hoodie, super cold. Me and Dad, I've shared the story a bunch of times where we caught them in a pocket, and the only deal was it was like 4 or 5 degrees warmer there, and the water was really muddy, and they were just a whole bunch
muddy
of
water,
pound and a half,
That's
2
it.
pounders stacked up in there. And that was the first time Dad ever got on like a really good solid frog bite, and he's like, okay, I can see why this is fun. Because he never throws one. He's like, I'd rather just go crank, right? So
Yeah,
that was a ton of
I mean,
fun,
I don't like. I like when I look at temperature, I don't even like think about like what I throw, like looking at the temperature. Like I never let the temperature decide what I throw. Like I never do. I never do. I just look at the temperature and make note of it. That's all I do pretty much. And look at where the fish are and what they're doing. I never look into that ever. Like, and let it decide what lures I throw.
I do. I use it as a guide. I wouldn't say, well, it's this temperature, definitely throw this, but like I know once it starts getting down in the 60s, man, that jerkbait bite's going to be on. Topwater walking bait's going to be on, like kind of as a guide. But yeah, you could go out some days and that might not be it. Be ready to experiment. Maybe they want slow,
and look for birds too. Birds will show you where the bait fish are. Keep an eye out for them.
Herons, we have, sometimes you'll see them in the pockets here. You'll see a bunch of herons, like 2 or 3 eating stuff. It's like, oh, let's go back in there and see. I still remember the day I was watching an MLF and it was Wesley Strader. He was like, oh, I saw all them white birds over there. They was all something. So I went back there and started throwing, and he was just boom, 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 boom. But it was the same thing. He would have probably gone right by it, but he saw all the birds back there. Boom, got on a bite. So yeah, birds, good throw in there. Let's see. Lots of people talking about their different topwater lures. One that I wanted to talk about specifically for tonight, because I feel like a lot of people. No, I have zero confidence in any of those. Johnny said it again. Kick knocker, hands down, best topwater. And Jermaine just brought it up earlier. He got a Vixen, as he said, topwater.
Yes.
So what do you guys look for in a topwater? Like when you're going to pick specifically a walking bait, we're going to say. So when you reach into the box, you're going to tie on a topwater walking bait. What's going through your head to, okay, which one am I going to pick and why? I just kind of want to see what everybody says as, oh, I just always throw this one, or well, in this situation I throw this, or is this, what do you got?
I'm a one knocker.
For wood, I like a tight. Oh,
I like one knockers.
Sorry, go ahead, Jermaine. Sorry.
That's kind of my preference there on the sound. I do like a little bit more translucent bait because I got clearer water for the most part. But like I said, I feel like I can't really speak too much because my topwater bite hasn't been too great. But when I do catch them, it's usually on like a white, black, or translucent. Yeah. And then like with baits with sound, I do like I kind of like the few less rattles. I wouldn't say one knockers in particular, but less.
The hard, more of a hard thumpy sound instead of the BB, like the teeny, trebly kind of. Okay.
Jermaine, do you ever throw anything like a chrome or something metallic-y, shiny like that? I know Debo and I have had some good times with some.
I do. I have there we go. I wasn't even expecting that to be behind me.
Okay.
But I got this chopper. I've thrown this guy's put in some work. But once again, I think I've caught like one fish on it, maybe. And like I watch guys kill on this thing, especially on YouTube, and I just can't seem to get a bite on it. So I don't know.
Have to do a side tangent here, real quick. Dizzle and Jermaine, you guys are the chatterbait guys. What are you throwing for your trailers on the chatterbait when you're catching them?
Go ahead, Jermaine. Everyone's gonna hate me for my answer.
Spunk shad. I know you like the old spunk shad, Dizzle.
Yeah, I got the spunk shad. I thought I had them here, but they're the spunk shad. And then recently the freeloader, the Crush City freeloader. I went to Dick's for something silly. Oh, I went to see if they had a buzzing toad. That's what I wanted. And they didn't have it. And then I was like walking around, and you know how it is when you go in the fishing section and you got to buy something. I'm like, all right, well, I'll spend $10.
Oh, yeah.
So I spent $10 on 2 packs of freeloaders and one of the other baits. I forgot which other one I got. Oh, and the paddle tails, the Mayor. Honestly, I like that kick. I like that.
I love the Mayors, dude.
Well,
I think
but I like.
I think Rapala crushed it with all their baits.
Yeah,
Crush City is fitting because I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I think they did really good with those things. And you know, everyone's gonna scream about the whole knockoff thing, but respectfully, I'm not paying $10 for a pack of soft plastics. I'm not doing it. So when you know you put out the what's the Brendan will tell you what's the original Bronco bug?
The Doe Live Beaver.
Yes, the Doe Live Beaver.
OSP.
But I think they're like, yeah, the OSP. I think they're like $12, $13 a pack. I'm like, no.
Yeah, they're eight, I think.
Okay.
That's the thing that's always funny too, is like you can never
They're
find them. They're
expensive.
never in stock. They're expensive. And it's like, whoa, why are they knocking these off? I'm pissed off. It's like, well, if there's a market for them, you can't get them and they're expensive. I mean, that's
exactly. So I'm just like,
that's how it works.
And it's hard to try something like that. I feel like that's another big thing for like with the whole like knockoff thing is like, and then I'll leave it alone. But it's hard when a new angler goes in to try something and it's more expensive.
Right.
It's like, do I really want to do that, or do I want to? Do I want to go with what I know? But that's my 2 cents on that.
No, Jermaine, no divines for chatterbait trailers.
I use the flush. I use a full flush, or I use the juggle. I don't really use a paddle tail. I did a little bit much this year, but not too much. I used a 13 fishing paddle tail, which is weird. I got it from Paul and Jeff, and like that big thing they sent me for my birthday. I actually won the giveaway on my birthday, but
nice.
I use that 13 fishing.
The divine for a paddle tail is pretty nice, but I know I've said this before. I actually like the Happy Dance, the Guggen Happy Dance bait for a chatterbait trailer also.
Okay.
It's the weird one that is the body is shaped like a diamond. So it's like kind of awkward to get rigged up the first time you try to do it, just because it's, you know, you're not used to putting a hook through a bait usually like that, but it has some really, really good action on the back of a chatterbait. Well, I'm surprised the chat didn't just instantly explode right there when I said like a Guggen bait.
Sorry, I'm way behind trying to get through comments here. I'm at 8:47 or 7:47. Reading, we're talking about frog rods and stuff.
Ooh,
what you got there?
Is that the original old school?
That's the
Oh, later, nerd.
He was pissed.
He said
he was offended.
I think it's I think I know his little secret. It's
it's probably like a
cuts down. It's a worm that he cuts down.
I was I was watching a video the other day and somebody said you were using a speed worm cut in half.
Oh.
Or like some sort of not stick bait, but something where you just kind of snip it down the middle.
Yep, you're back.
Your dog.
Okay. What was your secret worm?
I'm
was
outside
that a worm cut in half?
No, that's a Zoom double or split tail trailer. It's my favorite trailer of all time for spinnerbaits and chatterbaits.
Spinnerbait trailer.
That's what it is. Split tail. Yeah, the Zoom split tail. I got the split tail part right. I thought it was a worm you cut down, Brendan.
If you spin that skirt right, it'll.
I think there's a bit of a delay.
It's a killer trailer.
Brendan. That's why we're talking over you. Sorry, you just slightly delayed.
Oh, you know,
Jermaine, do you ever?
Sorry.
What's
Makes sense. Is the Busa? I saw Ben Milliken's been killing on that. The Busa Ned. It's like a little 5.5-inch bait, and it's like got the ribs on it, which is a whole nother topic I'd like to have.
Do you guys? It doesn't necessarily just have to be for Jermaine, but do you? Brandon, I think, was saying he trimmed down the skirt or thinned it maybe. I don't know. Do you ever trim down your skirts on a chatterbait? I do sometimes.
Yeah, I do. I kind of
Okay.
I cut them a lot shorter now.
I do. Every
Yeah.
single one of them.
Yeah.
How
Every
much are you
single-
taking off, Brandon? Or does it vary? Maybe.
I lost him again.
Yeah.
He froze.
I
Yeah, think
will,
we all-
depending on, you know, the one or whichever one
Going
I'm
to the
using,
point.
you know, if it just doesn't feel right with like the whatever trailers I happen to have, I'll definitely trim them down and I won't be overly bummed out. But some people are just totally against trimming skirts on chatterbaits, things like that. But
So if I had this one right here, I'd probably go to like the hook.
okay,
And I don't.
I get on
so
board with that for
I've
sure.
been doing, like, I'll do this one right now. I go like angles. I saw Monty do this, and I kind of like this a lot. I'm gonna make a mess, but it's all right.
So it has a little bit different of a flair
Does
to it.
anything, but like you see how like it's kind of angled. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then you get your trailer on there, and it really starts to dance in the water. But
Yep. Kind of the same way, Debo, when you know, first time that you brought up to me anyway, trimming frog legs. You don't do those two, you know, same distance, kind of do them on an angle. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
one has a little
on
bit more
board with that
drag.
also.
Okay.
it also too, I feel like it also depends. Sorry to cut you off there, Debo.
No, you're good.
I feel
Just
like
bring
it also depends on the action you want. Like if you want it to track true and stay straight, then don't trim it up, you know, and it'll kind of give you that more straight line. When you trim it up like this and you thin out the skirt a lot, like I don't know if I've done it. You ever take just the whole skirt and everything off and just throw the chatterbait, just like the head?
Oh yeah.
The naked chatter. That's what I call it. Naked
Dude, it's
chatter.
so erratic. It's like it's all over the freaking place, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's
Yeah,
like
if you put a
trailer, all that stuff, it hones that action to like a nice little, you know. So I feel as though when you thin it out, that's what gives you that erratic action without you having to so much
hunting
impart it all the time.
kicks.
Yep.
Michael Bradley, yeah, Shane's Baits Mini is the small A-rig that I was trying to think of that Hank told me about. Okay, so getting back into walking baits, this is something I really wanted to hit, and I just brought up the head and stuff because this is a perfect example of some of the kind of sizes and stuff. For years, I always just threw the Super Spook Junior. I should have had some here to show you side by side, but just a regular Super Spook Junior. Y'all have probably seen them. What are they? I think they're a 3-inch bait, 3.5-inch bait, ½ ounce. Great do-it-all topwater bait. If you're new to topwater fishing, walking baits, not super expensive. The 3-pack is what, $17. A normal, just regular one is, where's the regular Super Spook Junior? And of course, all the sales and stuff just got over with. You have to go Super Spook and then junior size. Yeah. So $8.40. They went up a little bit from back in the day. I think they used to be like $6, which, of course, like every freaking thing, it's gone up. But yeah, try to find them on sale. Great do-it-all topwater size bait. Now, if you go to the standard, I think they're what, 5 inches for the standard. It's an ounce. We're getting into the bigger baits. So when we talk about topwater baits and forage size and all this stuff, it can get super confusing. But the way I like to think of it is if it's on a smaller lake, usually downsizing, like if I would like my moving baits and stuff, that's kind of the same theory I have for my topwaters. If it's a bigger lake, place that I think there's going to be bigger fish, I'll upsize. Or if there's a little bit of chop on the water, I want something a little bit bigger that's going to have more commotion, I'll upsize. Now there's so much that have come out on the market as far as like mouth sizes. You look at like an evergreen shower blows or like this, the Chug and Spook, which has kind of like a popper style mouth.
Yeah.
Mixed in with it. Something that creates a little bit more commotion. That's when I start looking at something like this. Why would I want, that pop, that splash? Well, if you've got a little bit of wind, a little bit of ripple, if you've got a little bit dirtier water where you need to bring them in. So the not just a a regular walking bait, you can even cut those into different sizes. What's the Berkeley one that come out? I like Cane Walker. The Cane Walker, I've had good success on those. Same thing. It's got the larger, kind of popper mouth with the larger pencil bait.
I had a lot of success on this. The KVD.
Which one's that? Is that the Sexy Dog?
Yeah. And conveniently
enough. Is that the shizzle color? It is. The shizzle for dizzle.
Nice. Jermaine, do you tie your line directly to the tie point, or do you like to put a
tie directly to it?
Like a, what's it called? Like a
loop knot?
No, I don't tie a loop knot. I tie regular. So I think I'm down to
split ring.
2 knots? 3. So I have a braid knot, which is the double Palomar, or is it Palomar? Yeah, double
Shindo.
Double Shindo.
I use a double Shindo. I do use a double Shindo on chatterbaits, jigs, and then I just use what's that? Improved clinch knot, I think, on everything else. I don't really use too many knots. So yeah, I have like 2 knots primarily, a braid knot, and then a connection knot. That's it.
Okay. I'm glad you brought up knots too, because a lot of these that you get, I don't remember if all the spooks and stuff have them or not.
Like a split ring on there.
Yeah, a lot of them won't have a split ring. Now these, I'm pretty sure these do when you get them, but if they don't, if you've never tried a loop knot, a simple loop knot is just, I mean, it's an overhand knot. You leave the loop, you run it through, back over a few times and back in. That, I know that makes no sense when I talk about it now, but that's all a loop knot is. It's not hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't have one, it is good to know. I go back and forth on it. When you tie a loop knot, I will tell you, because you can make that loop however big you want. You could make just a little 1/2-inch loop. You could make it, a 2-inch loop. But what that loop knot does is it really allows that bait to kick back and forth. Sometimes maybe even a bit too much, depending on the bait, if it's one that really wants to glide and kick off to the side. But if you have trouble walking a bait, like tying directly to a split ring on it, try a loop knot, because you can really exaggerate the walking, the back and forth on that if you're struggling with it. So good point on that. But going back to sizes, I was going to say one thing is, because I feel like a lot of people just they just pick a topwater bait, right? They're all the same. Doesn't matter. I just pick one. And I'm not trying to say buy this size, it really depends on where you're at. But one thing I would say is don't be afraid to look at some of these smaller ones.
Yes.
The Booyah Super Spook Boyo is one that has absolutely crushed for me. We were just looking at that Super Spook. This is just a little 3-inch, 3/8 ounce, a little bit smaller, but it's a great little compact profile. And not just only this, I mean, you pick the brand, and most of them are doing this where they've got different sizes. But again, if you've got a smaller lake, maybe you don't have 5, 6, 7 pound bass in there. The biggest bass you've heard of people catching are 2, 3 pounds. Don't be afraid to go down to something like this. You don't have to throw a 5-inch, 4.5-inch Sexy Dog or something like that. That's why they have these different sizes. So don't be afraid to mess with size.
What line are you throwing on there? There was a question in chat about.
I am the unpopular opinion of, I still like 14-pound trilene monofilament, unless it's like a really small bait, but 3/8 ounce is perfect for that. Once I start dropping to smaller things, I'll drop down to like 10 or 12. But I like mono, especially on a walking bait or a popper that's kicking back and forth. Because if you go straight braid, it's only a matter of time before you're going to start catching that front hook in your braid.
Yeah. It's
always going to end up happening. So try just a short leader. Even if you don't like mono, just try like a 2-foot little monofilament leader.
That's what I got to do.
Yeah, or a foot, leader, and it helps. It's just that mono is stiffer, so it just sits out in front of it, floats. You don't get caught up in it. So
I just throw straight braid. I just do the straight braid thing, and then I just get PO'd. 4 or 5 casts in, I got to pull it in, and it makes a mess up front. But it's more about convenience of switching to a frog.
Sure. Oh, yep. Having your one braid combo.
Yeah, the Topwater rod, and
that's an easy fix though. Just keep a thing of like 14-pound mono with you. Simple fix. Throw a foot of that on, and you're golden.
True.
Let's see. Yeah, I am way behind in comments.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say too. Going off of the small head and spook you have here too.
Yeah.
That's another thing that people don't realize too. It's like we're late in the fishing season, no matter where you're at in the country. Like they didn't seen it all. You know, that how many other guys are going down the bank throwing this damn thing? You don't
Well,
you
see,
know what I mean?
that's a really good. Yeah, that's a really good point too, because not only have they seen a lot of things, what about forage size? Because right now, forage size at the end of the year is small. You know, you'll hear people talking about that. And I wish Brendan was on too, or maybe for you guys. We hear both of these stories. Okay, match the hatch. How important is match the hatch? You have to do it. If you match the hatch, you always catch more. And then you hear this other side of the argument. Oh, throw something big. Throw something they've never seen before. You know, they're way more apt to bite this. What in the hell are you doing down there, Stubby? You're stuck. So, you know, both sides of this argument. But yeah, Jermaine, I completely agree. Throwing something smaller downsized to what you normally would, especially if it's a tough day. I completely agree. That's kind of my confidence thing, though, is downsizing a little bit. I'm not a big bait guy.
Yeah, that's kind of where my confidence too is. Like if it's rough, then I'm throwing a Ned or a shaky head. And
Yep.
Like if I need a bite, I'm probably gonna tie on that magic worm with a shaky head.
Yeah, you know what mine is now, and I feel like I've just stolen this from Dizzle. The old free rig. The free rig has been a great. I've been testing.
I want to get into that. Like I watch videos. I understand how to do it, but I feel like it's like it doesn't make sense to me in my head how that the bait's moving right. So I get like I lose confidence. But then I see you guys pulling on it, and I'm like, it's got to work.
Same with like the A-rig or a big glide bait. I see guys even around here throwing them, and I'm like, yeah, I still think that guy took that fish from the supermarket and put it on his hook out there, because those don't work around here in the Midwest. You can't get it to work. It does. People do it all the time. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like a jig / Texas rig mixed with Mojo rig mixed with Carolina rig, kind of looking at it. And especially when you play with it in the shallows, you can see the difference. So if anybody's like, oh, just throw an unpegged Texas rig, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. Does have a different look to it.
Moves somehow differently. I don't know. And you know, I haven't really, when I've used it, I haven't paid much attention to, I guess, the buoyancy of the plastic that I've been using. Like I should really start to kind of pay attention and use, you know, something that's a little bit more floaty, and then go with something that's a little less floaty. Just because, I mean, there's going to be obviously differences depending on, you know, your buoyancy and stuff like that. But I've thrown pretty much everything on a free rig and have had success on there.
Do you guys like move your rod different? Do you do like the line slack, or like you just popping it like a jig? 1, 2, reel up the slack.
Pretty much.
1, 2.
I focus. Yeah, I do try to focus on slack line, because it seems like a lot of times they're hitting it when it's coming down to the bottom. When I'm not doing anything to it, when it's just doing its thing.
So
I'll go to pick it up.
You pop it up good?
I'll pop it up a couple times and then leave it slack line. So when I pop it, I don't want solid line, you know, where it's I'm popping it and then just leaving the rod tip so it can do its own.
And then you find when you pick it up again, there's weight.
Yep. Or it's already, when I go to pick it up, I'll see when I tighten it, it's already 2 or 3 feet over where it's already picked up. You don't even feel it.
It's
crazy.
It's kind of like that, like if you're throwing like a weightless, you know, stick bait or something like that.
Yep.
Kind of similar, but you don't have the drag from the weight on there.
These X zones, because my club is sponsored by them, so I get like we get 30 or 40%.
Those are great chatterbait trailers too. If you like to throw a naked, or I'm sorry, not chatterbait, buzzbait. If you like to throw a naked buzzbait,
they're amazing on everything. But
so what are you using on the free rig when you've tried it, Jermaine?
I think I did it like day. I don't remember what I threw on it.
Brendan's not here anymore. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, yeah, listen, young whippersnapper, that works for you, southern folks.
He's interesting.
Yeah, but that's the cool part about it, is it's so different around the country. Yeah, he can still topwater fish, you know, in winter. We don't have that.
He sends me a video or a picture every winter that makes me want to beat his little behind.
Old frog fishing story got shared. Take a drink. Yep. A lot of the same stuff recycled in here. You love it. Gosh, I
There
am
was
so for mine. 802
I
is
put a question in the private chat in StreamYard Debo. Well, I put 2, but you already did 1.
Okay. Let's see.
I
Okay,
wasn't able to
Patrick,
answer it.
question: is it
No, we
possible
already
for
did that one.
Jared Alonzo? Question: did you have trouble with knots on the P-line topwater copolymer? I have not noticed any issues with that. I just go back to using the Trilene XL because it makes the crystal blue color. So I know I'm horrible at remembering what I put on rods and reels. And I know if I pick that up, it's got 14-pound Trilene XL mono from the red box. But no, I use that. And I think there's actually some still sitting there. You can probably see it. No, I use that and like that a lot. The P-line copolymer.
P-line's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And you guys throw wake baits or crawlers? Ooh, good one to bring up. I found I only own a couple of them. Wake bait is still one that I struggle on. I'm like, I don't know, like a little crank sized.
Yeah.
I don't have one to show you, but like not a big crazy wake.
Jermaine's got a countertop
like one of these
showcase of baits back there.
I know, that's pretty. I like that.
Yeah.
Professional, unlike my
this stupid little thing
mess.
Was upstairs at my job for I don't know how many years. And I literally went down to my owner and went downstairs and was like, hey boss, can I have this? And he goes, Jermaine, what the hell is that? I took it home, cleaned it up, and now I got a bunch of 6 cent baits.
Oh, that's awesome. It's even on the spinny thing.
Yeah.
At the end of aisle 1, I do have a display here.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So I got my little baits up there, but this thing,
something like that.
This thing, it's like just throw it everywhere.
Push it back so they can see the bill of it, where it goes like almost straight down.
I don't mind. I got a bunch of them. It's interesting, but the bill.
Yeah, see how that bill goes straight down. So it's only going to just barely dive onto the surface, less than 6 inches, less than a foot.
Is it
like
zero to a foot or something?
Literally, like it's out. It's like the back is out of the water and it's just pushing water. So, but I had a really, really, really good day on one of these things, and like I remember it was like when I first got them. I think they I don't know if they dropped or they went on sale, but also it's more the one knocker that I like.
Hard knock sound.
But yeah, because I was at a lake and I was just like kind of right when I kind of got back into fishing, and there was like I want to say like maybe a foot or two of water over the grass, and I couldn't really throw anything else, and I was like, oh well, let me throw this thing. Dude, they were coming up out of that grass and destroying. Like I would get to the grass edge and go like it would get like 1, 2, 3, like it's like almost like an S motion. This particular one, and it would get like 1, 2, 3, and they would like it's like they were sitting on the edge and they would see it come out and be like, "Where are you going?"
See, that's the only time I can think of because we used to throw like little floating Rapala minnows. When you'd have that 2-3 feet above grass, perfect time to do that.
Yes,
throw a little floating jerk bait. That's the only time I can think of throwing a wake bait, because otherwise I don't know. I have zero confidence in them. I can't go out and be like, ooh, today I bet would be a really good wake bait day. Like,
so you know where you would do really good, Debo, with the wake bait? Your wood. Throw it at the wood. Because like
I would go to some. I would just
like it might come over.
I would just go to a popper though.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
My mind goes popper or square bill. Never in my mind am I like, ooh, I bet a wake bait. And it's probably just a confidence thing. Would all three work? Probably. But it's like, if you say that and it's like they're on bait fish, I'm thinking popper or square bill is where my head would go. So I don't know. I need to tie one on. I've got a whole bunch I found some.
Or in the yak, if you can get down the weed line and you just want to show them something a little bit different and just
parallel it.
Yeah, bomb it straight down and just bring it down.
That's a good thing. That's a good call too, because I doubt there's a ton of people around here throwing like wake baits. I don't feel that's like a big common thing.
I might throw one on this week so I can cover, because I'm going to my clubs. I'm going to talk about this on Wednesday. I don't know. I switched because my lives were Monday, and football's back. So
Monday Night Football.
yeah, Monday Night Football. I literally start, I think, an hour after. So I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna switch. So I think I switched it to Tuesday. We'll start rocking with Tuesdays. But yeah, I got my last tournament of the year.
Maybe that's my third one.
And it's gonna be a Candlewood. So there's like smallies and largies in there. Actually a really good fishery, but it's always tough. It's always tough. It's like one of those lakes where it's like, I went there. It was either a because I'm off every other Tuesday and I'm off on Thursdays. So I went to a Tuesday or Thursday morning and there was a tournament. Small, like
dude, I despise that when you pull up to the lake and there's like 50 boats there and you're like, no, why?
It wasn't a big one. It was like 6 or 7 boats, and it was just like some like old timers that were just like doing it for fun. They were like, yeah, small little $50 bar, and we just do this to have fun, blah blah blah. But I was just like, damn, like this lake really does just get pounded. Like in Candlewood in Connecticut. Yep. It's literally an hour and 10 minutes from my front door. So I forgot which launch it is. Not Squats. The one down on the southern end of the lake is an hour and 10 minutes away from my door. So, but it's a really good fishery. Really, really good fishery. There's giants in there, but like I said, it's tough. The first day I ever fished it, I got a limit of 12s. Of a bunch of things.
I'm gonna throw a wake bait tomorrow. That's my third one. The fourth one I just thought of because somebody said poop bait again. And thinking back to Wendell, I had Wendell on and he caught his new PB on. He's been crushing it with the Yamamoto poop bait, the Yamataduki.
So I got my first bite on that, and it looked like a good fish, but I lost it.
It was great last year in cold water, throwing it around rocks. But he was saying he was flipping it in pads. It doesn't smell like poop. That's good. Anyway, I digress. He was saying he flips it around, stuff kind of like a flipping bait. But man, throwing it on the bottom or letting it hit the bottom and bouncing it kind of like a jig. I'm trying that. Okay, so I have 4. I need to think of 2 more. Okay, so Victor, I think, was saying wind plays a big part in what topwater I'm throwing. I completely agree. How loud or how calm. Ray, here's a good one. What is the best topwater color for stained water? And I'm going to even take it a step further and pick your guys' brain on, and there'll be a giveaway. We're coming up on an hour. I'll do a giveaway. I got a whole bunch of stuff as I was going through. I just started throwing things in a bag. Okay, so your favorite, let's just go clear, stained, muddy, and then let's go low light versus sunny. What are your favorites?
Want me to go, Dizzle, or you want to set it off?
Yeah, you can. You're more than welcome to be first off on this one.
Clear. Green pumpkin variant. I'm terrible. Slightly stained.
We're talking topwater, though.
Oh, topwater. Okay,
like poppers, topwater walking baits.
Clear water, maybe for buzzbait. Translucent, like a translucent. Okay, what I love is like a translucent perch or translucent bluegill.
Hey,
that's going to be my favorite. Translucent perch, translucent bluegill. Stained, I'll go. That's when I'm gonna start to go to white or black. Yeah, that's lovely.
That was an old translucent perch that I painted gold. You can't see it, but you can see through it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Maybe I'll throw that in the giveaway.
Stained, I would go bone white black, and then I guess muddy bone white or black too. Or muddy water, I'm probably gonna go like black and just try to go give a silhouette. That's.
Yeah, I don't have like an exact fit. Like if there's sun, I want something with chrome. Especially the clear water it is, I want chrome. That chrome flash is so good. Stain still works good. Once it gets muddy, I don't know that it really matters because most of the time you've got to get kind of over them. You're not drawing them with sight, the way you would, in clear water where they're coming up and hunting it. Some sort of opaque, it's if there's no visibility anyway. you know, an all white bone or all black, does it really matter? I don't know. Maybe that's just my thinking, but to me, the cleaner the water, the more the color matters, the more they're going to get a look at it, and more if I want a translucent versus a chrome versus like if it's a low light but good clean water, you know, some sort of opaque color. How about you?
I would
Google?
say chrome with the sunny. And then, you know, pretty much anything else after that. I like a and my head was just in frogs there for a minute, and I was thinking, you know, sunny / clearer water. I want like a yellow white type of, you know, like a frog belly type of color, yellow white with a little red in there. And then pretty much anything else after that, getting darker or worser conditions in the water. I'm thinking dark colors, black.
Yeah, I don't, which is funny that we say that because 95% of the time I like an all black frog. When I go to topwater walking baits and stuff, I don't really throw an all black. It's like I want a bait fish color or some sort of, you know, solid, which is funny. And I know because like Jermaine was saying, oh, I want that silhouette. That's exactly what I think about when I'm throwing the frog. But when it comes to a topwater walking bait, it's like, nope, I need a bait fish color. I need a solid bait, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's black in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Black baits
Completely.
in general, it's like
black chatterbait.
Why do you not
black
throw a
walking
black?
bait.
Like, you throw black. Everyone throws black and blue jigs. Tried and true black and blue. You know, you hear about that. Don't know what to throw. Throw black and blue, right? But then it comes to like, why don't you throw a black and blue crankbait? Why don't you throw a black and blue spinnerbait? Why don't you like? I mean, recently
spinnerbait.
Yeah. So recently, you know what I got? Tackle Warehouse has a. I'm upset that I got one. When I lost, this was months ago though. When I lost my box, I went on Tackle Warehouse and they had they have a black chatterbait. It's just straight black. And I got it.
I love that one. They used to have, when you used to be able to get them from Japan, you could get the all like matte black. Maybe they brought that over. Is that the one they brought over to Tackle Warehouse?
It's like black, but it has like the very slightest black and blue swirl.
Okay.
Or
this is all the giveaway stuff.
Black, just flake. So the tiniest flake in it.
Jermaine, I thought you were upset that you were going to say that you could only find one of the
customs
Yoziri knuckleball spinnerbaits.
Yoziri knuckleball. This is the giveaway. I'm going to get the giveaway going.
That's a good one. That's there's some juice in there.
And there's a 6 cents right there. Got some customs, topwater walking baits, poppers.
Dang, I'm a guest. I chose a poor show to be a guest in. I would want my shot at this.
Black and blue spinner.
Terrible.
I thought that was a good.
God, you're never going to be able to see that, are you?
Good call on fire.
I'm going to open it.
Is that the special purple one?
Is the Bass Pro one?
It's black light is the color.
Okay.
This was from a mystery tackle box probably 10 years ago. And I still haven't. Literally taking it out of the package for the first time right here.
Since we're talking topwater, I feel like I need to throw a topwater in there too. But those are DEBO handmade DEBO Senkos with complimentary stubby hair in there as well. So, did you donate some of your hair?
Can't really see it, but it's a it's purple black, and there is a little bit of purple flake to it. Yeah, this light is. Oh, hey, wait. Let me do this.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
And look at the blade is black.
Yes, I like the black blade.
But that is limited edition through mystery tackle box that is.
Oh, you know, do I have one right here? So here's a black, just a regular black and blue jackhammer. But like, why don't people throw this more?
It's funny because when you talk about chatterbaits, I do throw black and blue.
Yeah.
But so many other like crankbaits, I don't like. I've even painted blue craw because people want them, like the dark black and blue craw. People love. I don't have confidence in it.
I got the black and blue, one of the OG DEBO first crankbaits up there behind me still.
But see, I have so much confidence in purple plastics. Some people are like, you're crazy. That doesn't catch stuff. I don't know. Okay, let's get a giveaway rolling here. We can keep talking about Topwater here. We got another maybe 20 minutes, and then I'm calling it because I got to get tackle ready for tomorrow for the yak.
Any colors that you just 100% stay away from, Jermaine?
I have a hard time putting things like this in the water. This is an interesting bait. Like, I think it would do great in spring, but like, I don't know. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. It's just for me. Like, I think this is cherry limeade from 6 Cents.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not saying like, obviously somebody's gonna be like, oh, I caught my PB on that, and it's the best.
Right.
But like for me personally, this is like one of those like, wow. I think I got it in a sack or something like that.
Yeah, I know. I would for the longest time. And again, this is a story that Debo and I have told a million times. Back when we first started fishing together, we always talked about, springtime fishing, throwing the black and red chatterbait and lipless, black and red lipless, and neither one of us had ever really done it, and we're like, hey, let's give it a shot, and it dominated.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure a bait like that has its time and its place. I just don't know when that would be.
So I mean, I like red. I'm kind of like along the lines with Chan and a couple other aquatic biologists that I pay attention to. And they say red and green trigger the feeding response of bass. So I always like a little red. I don't mind the red all year. I think too much red is definitely a thing. Because no fish is like all red. At least in my bodies of water anyway. So I like the crawl patterns that have heavy reds. I don't mind them. But like I said, I think that the green and the red trigger feeding responses, so I have no problem doing
it. Interesting.
Guys, I love watching you all guess. That's part of my favorites. I almost did #black and blue as we were talking about it. That was one that popped in my mind, but I'm like, I want something short.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, or really good point, Jim, talking about throwing all black stuff. Only time I can think about, well, buzzbait. I'm on board with the buzzbait too. All black buzzbait I really like.
I got these little mini jigs here that are all black.
Those are sweet. Are those the missile bait ones?
Yeah. Good eye, dude. Hell yeah.
Those.
I have the Hellraiser I have is all black. Is it the Hellraiser?
Yeah, the Hellraiser's nice.
Yeah.
My boy Pat.
All black, blade, the body, the whole nine.
My boy Pat slams on that thing. I've watched Pat catch like a 5-pounder right next to me, and I was like, the explosion was so crazy, I almost dropped my rod in the water. And we just looked at each other like,
that's the best.
Go running over to him, I was like, oh my God. He has such good luck with that thing. And then I'll go to the same lake and I'll throw it, nothing. And he just kills on that thing. He loves it.
Okay, we've got #top to be entered in the giveaway. I am going to put a topwater lure in there as well. So if there's a certain topwater you like, is that the Konami code? Left, right, up, down, A, B, select, start. If there's a specific topwater you want, I'll try to throw a couple in for you since I've got obviously a couple extras. I want to try to help you out. So #top, that'll be all the stuff I showed you in that bag. Plus I'll throw in a couple topwaters since that is the theme of the night. When you win, you pick it, you email me, you tell me. Let's see. There was something else back here I saw. Cooler lid. I heard red disappears in water. I would have to go back and look at the chart, but I thought red showed up in
the furthest down, right?
Yeah,
I don't think the furthest down, but it showed up quite a ways, right?
A good amount of ways down.
Yeah, I think like I forget what was the best. Green. I think maybe green showed all the way down.
I know that bass can see green very well because everything is green. So like I don't know if this is going to make sense, but the way that we see all colors, bass see green. Does that make sense?
So everything's like different shades or types
Yeah,
of
so
green.
they can like really, really see like the different shade of green because fish are green and that's what they need to eat to survive.
I've heard too that they only have certain color cones, which I don't know how true that is, and if that was true, why like hasn't that been talked about
So
before or
if
like
I
more?
remember right from the marine biologist that I watch, it's like fish are colorblind. It's like they can only see like whatever, it's like red, blue colorblind or something like that. Like they can only see those. It's like imagine there's actually I think I forgot the name of it, but there's a website where you can like turn on color blindness for like fish on, and like you can put like upload a picture and like see what they see on it. It's like kind of cool.
Yeah, because then it's like, how much does matching the hatch really matter? You know, if it's, I don't know, that's a whole different show. But
I think action's the number one most important thing. So.
Yeah, I think that's tough. What's the number one most? Ooh, that would be a good one to get in on. Oh no, Northwoods West. So funny enough, last week I sold the John boat, so it's no more.
Wow.
I no longer have it. It's gone.
Was it a fishing friend?
Full on the yak. No, it wasn't. I had a couple fishing friends interested. Funny enough, one of my buddies, it was like, dude, how much you want for it? He's like, yep, sold. I'll take it. I'm like, okay,
nice.
Awesome. That was super easy. Then he hits me back up and he's like, yeah, just talk to the wife and that's not going to happen. I'm like, hey, I know how that goes. Yeah, I know how that goes. So now I listed on Facebook, and within, I don't know, a few hours, I had multiple hits.
Nice.
The first guy was, really nice. I went and met him and done deal. So she's gone. Hopefully she catches a whole bunch more fish, but just didn't have a spot to store it, and it was a pain in the butt messing with it in the winter. So now the second part will be, I was looking and getting an electric winch. Harbor Freight has them on sale for $100. The electric one you plug in, you can so that way I can just, because I've got a really tall ceiling garage, so I can just put it in there and so that'll be my next project.
One of us. We finally got old Debo to the kayak side.
I know.
Dizzle, you're next.
Full in.
I don't want to hear nothing. I already got it picked out for you, Dizzle.
Oh yeah,
Dizzle.
Yeah,
we'll get you in
like what's that? Dang, and it just kind of went out of my head. Is it the PWR? Yeah,
bonafide PWR. Yeah,
bonafide PWR. If it's the big fellas.
Really?
Also, we're 4 away from giveaway getting 100. So 4 more, and I'm pulling it. I'm hitting the go. Hashtag top. You're entered. Bunch of lures. Throwing some top waters. Yep. Northwoods West sold it. John boat's gone. He gone.
I would say the Titan X, but I'm not trying to kill your pockets. Like, I understand that we have Gator Adventures just said Titan X. Yeah, but the Titan X is like $4,500 if you get it new, and it's just I don't mind saying it. I don't have $4,500 sitting around, otherwise I'd be sitting in the kayak.
Yeah, I was finding mine used like that, and everything was just
a
blessing because I was looking at the Titan X. I'm like, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah. If I buy one brand new, I think I'm gonna get the Titan Slayer. I don't need to
the Native Slayer.
Natives, the Native.
That's what I've got. Yeah, that's the exact one I've got. I love it, dude.
That's absolutely what I love
it. One more. We're at 99. Hashtag top. Somebody.
Come on, y'all.
Do the entering things.
I've been.
There it is.
There it is. All right, here we go.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you, Ben. I hope you win.
Okay, must be present to win.
I want Ben to win.
Canadian brethren. Dizzle will drive something up for you. Scott Lamonter. Oh, Scotty boy. Scotty's a long time watcher.
The OG.
Long time listener, first time caller, Scott Vermonter. I don't remember where he's at, but I know he's stateside
Scott's
somewhere.
Always here.
Scott, email me your address, a screenshot of your YouTube so I know it's you, and what top water lures you would like. And I'll throw a couple top waters extra in there for you.
He's there.
Hell yeah.
950. Pat, you can't say it's rigged. You just won yourself.
Yeah. You just one of the members, Pat. What the hell rigged, he says. Okay, so let's see what else we have. I had a comment. Let's see if I take Pat off. Does it show it? Nope, that's my email. DEBO'S fishing at gmail.com, Scott. Let's see, is it still there? No, it's not.
Hey, there's a good one. Cooler Lid said, my cousin is 290 and he fishes out of the Old Town Sportsman PWL with no issues. There you go. Come on now, Dizzle. Come on now, Dizzle.
Man.
Somebody had a good one. I forget who you were, but they said, I need a good Topwater. What one would you say and what color?
A black Chapo.
Okay. Oh, let's each go something different. Yeah.
Ooh.
We'll give you some ideas. So all black Chapo. I like that.
Just generally speaking, yeah.
In any sort of Topwater. I'm not sure what he was saying. If whoever that was, if
he's just starting, I feel like a black Chapo is nice and easy because you just chuck it and wind and you can stop.
Oh, here, Ray.
You can what size?
Oh, walking bait.
Walking bait. Okay.
What's your favorite? What's your number one favorite? Maybe we'll just do that and give recommendations. What's your number one?
I feel like Jermaine held up the perfect color not too long ago. Yep.
That is a really good one.
Yeah, I was gonna go away from that.
That's one of my favorites. Sexy dog.
Yeah, and what is it? Is it the Dogma or is it the Sixth Sense one? I can't remember the name.
Look here real quick.
You Debo.
Catwalk is.
I like the Catwalk. I've thrown that one.
I'm gonna go with the Catwalk if you want a walking bait. I love that thing.
Debo, didn't the Bass knock off like all of the paint on the KVD bait that one day?
No, not one day. That's one that I've had for a long time.
Oh, was it?
And yep, and it's already had stuff knocked off of it.
Those exact ones right there.
Was a chrome, the Sexy Shad chrome, but the bottom has all been the bottom and sides has all been knocked off from the hooks, so it's like bone-ish belly with chrome kind of sides and top.
Chrome accents.
Yeah.
Paid extra for it, no big deal.
Yeah, the Catwalk second one. Yeah.
Do they have two sizes? No, just one size.
They only have one size, right? It's kind of big then.
Like a 4.5, I want to say. Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah, it's not like. So I feel like a new angler would be intimidated by it, but
yeah, it's not a big.
It's not big though. It's gonna definitely intimidate people, but it's not big. They'll still come pounders will still come up and smack that thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of times they're just coming up and slashing at the food. Yeah. So they don't. Vixen, yeah. So a lot of people I know are going to say the Vixen. I don't have the confidence in that yet. I was out on the river with Dad a couple years ago, and he was throwing the Vixen, and he didn't have great luck with it. It was one of the new Vixen repops, so I don't know how much different they sound than the other ones, but I didn't notice the difference of that versus like a KVD Sexy Dog.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going to take heat on that, but
it's
I need to
$25.
That's
my biggest thing. It's $25. I'm not going to tell anyone to go buy a $25.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other things that if you're just getting into it and you're just getting started, don't go get a Vixen. Go learn it.
I would say for do it all, kind of like Jermaine was saying, don't be scared of this. If you want to go just a tad smaller, head and Super Spook Junior. Color,
the Mad Dog is good too. It's kind of a smaller one. It's on 6 cents, but you don't have to go back to it.
Let me look here real quick before I forget. I do want to show them this.
Hedden makes good stuff, and they're OGs in the game too.
Dude,
they've been around.
Been around forever. Where is this?
So you got to be doing something right. That's where I'm. That's where I'm kind of at with that. The Super Spook Junior. Oh, to your left. Feathered treble.
See, that's the thing. On my spooks, I don't like a feathered treble. I like it on a popper. I don't like them on a walking bait. Am I blind? What's actually happening right here?
I think it's down to the right. There's the rattling spook walking bait. I don't know what.
That's the one knocker. I just want a super. Oh, here we go.
There you go, Super Spook.
So for
what's
me,
the difference between the Super Spook and the regular? Is it just
Size.
smaller?
Yeah,
Okay.
Super Spook Junior versus the big one is size. If you want a secret one here, which is, so they've got like the different versions of this Oki shad. I know a lot of people like it, and this isn't a secret color or anything, but a lot of people like this, like when you've got stained water for those colors. But if you want kind of a secret color, let's see, do they still have that one? They call it, oh, they don't. I think it was like an old, I want to say it was an old saltwater color, maybe. Do they have the saltwater? I don't know. Anyway, it was this clearish, but here's like the big one knockers. Pearl Melon is one that's
nice too, dude.
People swear by, the ghost, like a ghost minnow color.
Yeah,
if you've got nice. Clear water,
right in there too.
I don't know how dirty your water is, but that's a good one. But the one I like in just the super spook, if I'm going to pick an all around, is the,
how much are those guys?
What do they call it? Foxy shad. I really like.
$8.49. That's
$8.49.
Or
bone, or any white color.
Got a PB alert in the chat. Snap time at 9:56.
PB.
PB alert. Like
where are we at?
9:56.
Snap time. PB on the Yama Tanuki, dude. I gotta throw it. Another PB on the Nuki.
Yeah.
I did it all for the Nuki. Come on. 5 pound, 3 ounce.
That's a good fish, brother. Dude. Good job, Snap time. That's a good
I haven't even broke 5 pounds yet this year. Haven't caught a 5 pounder.
Me neither.
So I think I did, and my scale broke in my last video. I think the last one. And then I actually caught another one that was bigger than the one I caught in my last video. And I didn't bring my GoPro. I forgot it. So
yeah, I don't even mess with fishing without the GoPro now, because I know when I do, something crazy will happen. So what was the one you were saying, Jermaine? Oh, whoops. Hard bait.
The Dogma. It's right next to the
right next to Chasing Amy. Down a little ways.
With the 3 hooks. No, yeah, I like the ones that have the 3 hooks.
Is that it? Yeah. I think it's the Dogma, right? It's they have a little smaller size, a little 100
size.
Yeah. That one I like, the bleeding shad. That's my favorite one.
That French pearl bone. That's what I have my catwalk on. I like that color.
Yeah. But they have that bleeding shad and the chrome. That one's nice. That's nice too. That's like the chrome I do throw. And I like
there's your black and blue.
Yeah, I like the black magic.
Is there like a green belly on it?
4-inch half ounce.
So honestly, that
matte color, huh?
In the popper, in the splashback, that's how my YouTube channel started. Literally first cast with my phone on my chest, an iPhone. I bought
I don't pick no proof.
Amazon, and my first cast with the dang thing, I just bloop, 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 blow up like 3.5 pounder. I was like, oh my God. I was cursing and carrying on. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing.
Kathy, the Skitter V. You want to talk about a couple of oldies? I've got 2 in the Rapala line that are, I feel like, basically forgotten about. You named one of them. Great call out on that.
I feel like they do get forgotten about.
So the Skitter V, so it's got like a V hole on the bottom of it. V shape. It comes down to like a V. Does walk really easy. I've caught quite a few fish on this over the years. Colors. There's like a chartreusey colored one that I had. It's like a yellowy chartreuse.
Skitter V. Bone chartreuse. Sold out. I wonder why.
Yep, that's the one. Bone chartreuse, great color. Pike like to eat those as well. Yep, sold out. That sucks.
Pike like to eat everything now.
And I'll tell you, the bait that I got my first 2 solo doubles on, so 2 fish on 1 lure, is this. They don't even make the color anymore. I'd like a blue chrome orange.
I've heard about that thing.
Yeah, so it's like a little topwater walking bait, but it's got a plastic cup on the mouth of it. And this is one that, here's the old color that I've got. They make a few different sizes, 5, 7, and 9. But
turn it to skin.
Yeah, this is one that also gets forgot about. I've got a couple of those. A green one, there's like a bullfrog looking one. You might have to go to the LureNet site because I know they had other color options. I think I was talking about that before. That old bullfrog color that they used to make in like the spooks.
My elbow, Jesus.
Let's see. Okay, we'll do a couple more questions and we're gonna roll out. What do we got?
We got some constant shout outs for the Evergreens shower blow. I've heard a lot about that bait as well.
I've only thrown it a little bit, but yeah, it does make a really good sound, really good commotion.
That's a good one. The last question we have right there, that's literally the last thing in chat. That's a good one.
I don't believe in the whole red hook thing. I feel like there's so much going on with it that it's really the action, sound, everything with the lure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like there's enough red there for them to key on. Maybe, but I mean, why did they put spots on the bait? The red chin or the orange chin for a spot? So maybe.
I was my answer on that would be, I think it only I've never done it personally, but I think it only matters if they're swiping at it. Like if you're just like you're having
clear
like
water.
Yeah, like you're having like a good bite day, but you're not connecting. It's like, okay, you just need to make a small change, and that's a time where you would make like okay, let me change the hooks, or let me let the butt sink a little bit more, the nose sink a little bit more. Like they're still hitting it, but you're just not getting them to fully commit to it. So it's like instead of instead of changing the color, put a little red hook on there and see if they get the full hook.
Yeah, I've never, I know people talk about it gives them a point to key on a target, but I'm like, maybe the slower the bait, so maybe something like a popper or, a jerk bait, maybe, like when they get a look at it and they're like, I don't know. All right, well, listen, we're getting out of here. For those of you that don't know Jermaine, where can they find you?
Mainstream Fishing, as you can see on the screen of my name, Instagram, and YouTube for the most, and I do a little TikTok, but not too much. And I think on Facebook, I'm Jermaine KVB Simpson. So, yeah, Debo, thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate you.
For sure, man. Dizzle, where can they find you? At the Huskers game at the tailgate. Woo! Right, Dizzle?
Wait, Debo's changing his channel to Debo Ultimate Troll Fishing.
Let's go hide under some bridges and scare people. All right, listen, we're getting out of here. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. Until next live.